Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. My name's Logan Kalkowski and my little brother Cole is behind the camera. Today we're going to go through one of our projects that we do along with our college studies at the University of Nebraska. This project is called Ranch House Remodel. Today we're going to go through 3 rooms and we did it all in 3 days. So now we'll get a little bit into what this project is. This is a family house that our family owns in the northern side of the state of Nebraska, where we also raise cattle and do all sorts of ranch stuff. So this project is for our hired man that runs and does everything day to day for this operation. And he's worked with us for several years. He's been great to us, and it's more like family than anything. And so we wanted to treat him for the holiday season this year in 2020, because we all know that 2020 has been a difficult time. So again, three rooms in 3 days. We'll start with the mudroom, and then we'll move to the kitchen, and then to a bathroom, all in this house. So the first room is a mudroom. This is a room that dog food's kept, mud boots, everything that you do, and it's the entrance into the house. So you want it to be super nice, super cool, something that you walk into the house and like, man, this is awesome. So that's what we tried to create. We did some flooring, we did some siding in the walls, we did some foundation work, and we also did a little bit of paint in there to help sprucing it. Now it's not completely done, but it's a lot closer than it was, and it's definitely 100 times better than what was there before. You'll see some before and after pictures later on. The next room we'll go through is to the kitchen. The mudroom is connected to the kitchen, and this is kind of the main entrance into the house. So you walk from the mudroom into the kitchen, and what we did here is we did some trim work and we did some flooring work, and then just some cleanup and different things that a kitchen needs every once in a while. And then as we move through the kitchen, you come down here and we go to a hallway. There's a couple bedrooms connected down here, and the living room is over on this side of the house. So with the living room connected over here, we knew that we were going to have to do some work to this eventually. We just didn't want to do it because it's so cold outside, and we didn't really want to put the family out of their house any longer than we already had. So here we tied our tile into the existing wood floors that will probably need a good sanding and coating later on this summer, hopefully when we can open and air the house out. But as you walk down the hallway, you come to the bathroom. And in here, well, this is an old house. It needed a little bit of love. So what we had to do is we took the floor all the way down to the subfloor, down to the studs essentially, pulled all the vanity, the toilet, and all the different things, and they had wood paneling on the walls, took all that down, basically scrapped it all. You'll see a video of that being dumped into the dumpster pile later on. We did keep the shower because we think that's kind of an expensive asset to the room, and it was in pretty good shape. So after that, we decided we were going to do new wall finishing, new flooring, and we had to end up redoing all the plumbing underneath because old houses use a little different type of plumbing. Here we're pulling up the old subfloor and the old linoleum in the bathroom, something that needed to go. There's no ventilation in this bathroom, so the floor was very wet or moist, and it just needed to be kind of completely pulled up because, you know, when you take a shower, it kind of creates humidity in there, and we wanted to avoid that as best as possible. Here you can see where we pulled the couple cabinets out. We actually pulled those out and the dishwasher was between them, and the dishwasher lines were leaking. We couldn't get the valve to completely shut off, so we decided to pull it all apart and put a new valve in. As you can see here, we're pulling up all the subfloor. There's a 3/4 inch OSB style flooring plus 3 layers of linoleum, so it all needed to come out, and good thing we did. Bet you didn't hear that. What was it? Well, it's the lack of sound actually that you should have caught. The fact that I just burned up a Milwaukee multi-tool not only stunned me, but it stunned the tool. I can't believe it happened. So I'm going to explain a little bit about that. So we were working on the house in the kitchen, and I was pulling up the old subfloor underneath all the cabinets because the subfloor actually went through the cabinet along the rest of the floor. And so I was cutting the edge of that to keep it clean when we laid the tile next. And all of a sudden my Milwaukee tool was on, but it wasn't vibrating like it was supposed to. So I turned it off, pulled the battery off, pulled the blade off, and put everything back together and tried it again, and nothing worked. So I'm going to explain that. This here is the Gen 1 Milwaukee multi-tool. It is a brushed motor, and it doesn't have any brushes anymore because the engine blew out. Very good tool. I've had it for 3.5, 4 years. Very, very good to me. It was bought at Home Depot around the Christmas holiday season. And it was my first, actually it was one of my first tools that I'd ever gotten. And did wonders. Did all sorts of projects, sanding, cutting, grinding, anything you could ask of it, it did it. But I think it took its end date. What I'll explain is I had it on the highest speed setting of 12. And I don't know if that was too much power or if it just gave up or what, but it did end up kind of going kaput. Interesting story to all of this is we had another project coming up that maybe you'll see later in another video that I wanted a multi-tool, that I knew I would need a multi-tool for, so I had to make sure I had one in time. Thus, the second generation multi-tool with the fuel engine, so a brushless engine, was in my sights. It had just become released, and so I went ahead and bought this online. And in the process, we got back to Omaha where I had bought this tool at a Home Depot store, and I had the box, the original box with it, and on the box it says 5-year warranty for the tool. I decided to take it in and show that, you know what, it doesn't work anymore, but I'm definitely under my warranty time period since I bought it. The gentleman there said, okay, go find an exact version of this on the shelf, bring it to me, and we'll make a swap. That right there is the reason I use high quality tools. It proves that not only can you use a tool the way it's intended, but you can also count on the companies to stand behind their product. This is out at a ranch, so we have a lot of different trash that comes up and is kind of put together as the year goes on. We usually have one large pile every year. We throw pallets that we bring salt and mineral for our cattle in on this, and any other scrap or trees that fall down in the year. Everything here, we've pulled as many of the nails out as possible. All this will get burned, and then the The trash will get buried if there's any nails or any pieces of metal left after. Before we put the tile down, between the tile and the below flooring and the joists, we had to put a concrete tile backer, is what I would call it, just a concrete board to ensure that your floor is as level as possible. They recommend that you can glue this or not glue it, kind of depends on your situation or what you feel comfortable with. We had plenty of mortar left, so we decided to go ahead and glue it down. The goal there just being as quiet as possible when you walk across it, that you don't hear any creaks or quacks.
Okay. In the hallway.
As you can see, we use 6-inch by 24-inch tiles. This is what was requested by the homeowner, and we just wanted to make sure that they enjoyed what they were getting. And so we went ahead and used those, as you can see, and then we kind of did a staggered pattern. The goal with this was so you aren't stepping across cracks or you don't see seams running the whole way between the grout. Our compound was used, and then we created an 1/8-inch gap, as I said earlier, and kind of looks pretty cool. Looks like a wood pattern with an 8-inch gap. When we pulled the wood paneling off the bathroom wall, we noticed that we needed to do a little bit of drywall patching. So as you see here, this is Cole doing a little bit of drywall work. Here you can see Cole is spray foaming the areas on the porch. This room was kind of the house for dogs, so I guess the dogs got a little hungry and enjoyed the drywall. Yes, we could have done some drywall work, but all this was going to get covered up later on, so we decided it wasn't the end of the world just to do a little spray foam. Here you will see us starting to do our siding tin sheets for the walls and trim work in the mudroom. This was kind of an idea that our hired man had come up with, kind of a barn look, but also kind of a modern look. These are 1x4 pine sheets of lumber. We probably should have treated them or put a lacquer on them, but we ended up not. Everything in this room is going to be just your standard 1x4 lumber from any hardware store. And these are 3 foot tall by 24 inch with a 22-inch reveal steel panels. Aren't terribly expensive. They're brand new, so they don't quite have the complete rustic look, but they do still look pretty sharp. The one thing to consider if you're going to do something like this with these steel panels is your outlets. Our outlets, we bought a couple extensions. They're a 1/2-inch extension. They were plastic. They screw into the stud and around the box, and they pull your electrical box out a little further, and then you can put your cover and your outlet back on top of it. The reason we had to do that is just because, you know, that tin has a little bit of a wave in it, and it actually pulls your wall out just a little bit. Here you can see us burning some of the 1x4 material. This is just a propane heater that we, propane torch that we use when we brand our calves. And it actually does a very quick and easy job of this. After it was burned, it was given a light sand and then installed in the kitchen as all the trim. We like the idea of the trim and galvanized steel look on the mudroom, so we decided to go ahead and do that along all the walls in the bathroom. As you saw earlier, there was kind of that black line along the bathroom walls, so we had to actually make it a little bit taller than the 36 inches that was provided with the tin sheets. So we ended up doing a 1x10 on the bottom and a 1x4 on the top. To get a little groove in all this 1x material, we ended up taking it through a table saw. We did that just to ensure that the tin is kept tight up against the wall. And then we placed these tin screws throughout the material to keep it from moving. As you can see there right below the last screw I just set, we actually had an issue with the wall not being 100% 90 degree. So there where the outlet is, the wall is actually less than 90 degrees. So we had to come up with some sort of idea to make sure that toothbrushes, toothpaste did not fall behind the wall. Grout time. We used Mocha grout that you can find at Menards with this wood tile. It was one that was recommended for the specific type of tile. We used the water grout compound, and then later on we took sponges and we just washed this. I think in the end this ended up getting 6 full washes with foam brushes and clean cups of water.